currently here with us. Okay, so this one is Allie McKenzie from Danforth Street. I just turned on my mic, I'm going to repeat myself. This is Allie McKenzie, Danforth Street. Hello, council members. I would like to express my concerns about the mental fitness to serve some council members on this council. Councilman Chowdhury was at a Bangladeshi organized event in Warren about 10 days ago. The organizers set the rules for the audience to write their comments. Councilman Chowdhury showed up late for the program and demanded to be recognized and allowed to speak at the podium. This resulted in a shoving and screaming match and showed how immature the Hamtramck councilman is. This is a shame for the community. On the other hand, some council members that lost the 2021 election and never been back to the city. My brother, a neighbor of a councilman that is going to be considered to fill Mr. Albermaki's position. This councilman never lived in Hamtramck and was never seen after he lost. I worry for Hamtramck how these people are so passionate to be the councilman, but don't even have the time to live in Hamtramck. Hamtramck deserves better public servants. Sincerely, Allie McKenzie. Hello, my name is Ahmed Ali, living on Holmes Street. I want to submit my comment concerning the resolution 22-142 concerning inspections before the sale of a house. Although the resolution was removed, I'm still going to give them the right to read these comments, okay? I would love it if you would exclude vacant properties, as many Muslims who can't buy houses because of interest buy broken down homes and fix them in the span of years, as I personally have done and many other homeowners have done, and now have full houses that are safe and with new electric and plumbing systems. Requiring houses to be fixed in 6 months will put an undue burden on Muslim home buyers who buy houses gutted and save up to fix them up. If anything, please allow the sale. And when the water is to be turned on, to do the inspection. That is one way to go. Require inspection before turning on the water. I would like to also voice my support for the updated animal resolution 2278 to allow animal slaughter during the Eid holidays. This is a great step towards religious freedom and should be applauded. Thank you. This is from Ian Ingram. 2 agenda items slated for tonight's meeting have been brought to my attention. As I am otherwise engaged tonight, I would ask that you accept my comments by email to be read at the meeting. The first issue is a proposal by Councilmember El Samiri to change the inspection period for rental properties in the city from 2 years to 3 years. It is my understanding that the council member owns a considerable amount of rental properties in the city and claims that these inspections are a burden to landlords. Simply put, this is nonsense. We do not skip health department inspections because they interfere with day-to-day operations of food service. Hospitals and clinics are subject to inspections at any given time, and most industries are subject to OSHA and MIOSHA inspections at the agency's discretion. There is no legitimate reason to lower the standards for rental housing in Hamtramck, especially in the face of rising property values and increasing rents. Furthermore, this proposal at a minimum appears to be a conflict of interest in which the council member is holding his convenience in higher regard than the safety of his renters and his neighbors. Frankly, this member should resign immediately, as it appears that he is on the council not to represent the citizens of Hamtramck, rather his own business interest. The second issue I would like to address is the proposed edit to the animal ordinance to allow animal sacrifice for religious purposes. This is a foolish idea which has the potential to expose the city to an assortment of lawsuits. I'm fairly confident that most of you would agree that our tax dollars are better spent preserving and improving the infrastructure of the city than attorney fees and court costs due to foolish ordinances. Thank you for your time and consideration. Ian Ingram. Ali Clegg. I am a longtime resident of Hamtramck. I do not approve of animal slaughter in the residential alleys and backyards. The animal waste and discarded innards are a serious threat to the health of our community and public health issue. The city does not have enough staff to enforce proper disposal of these hazardous materials, so they are being handled and disposed of in a sanitary and safe way that meets the state of Michigan health and safety rules for meat handling and disposal. Public health issues must be well researched to ensure that these decisions are made with sound public health interests in mind. Animal waste and cross-contamination is well-documented health hazard, and this is why it is prohibited, not for religious suppression. It is for the health of everyone, children and elderly in particular. Please see these. He gave me some links. Obviously, I'm not going to read out the website links, but if anybody's interested in wanting the links, email me. I can send you a copy. And those are from Ali Clegg, Hamtramck resident. Sarah Terrian. Hello, I was at July council meeting and spoke about the possibility of allowing... I was at July council meeting and spoke about the possibility of allowing animal sacrifice for private residents. I am disappointed that this issue continues to be unresolved. As a resident of nearly 10 years, I have had to defend Hamtramck to those who think it's not a good place to live. These people are often misguided by xenophobia or lack of knowledge of this awesome place I call home. I will no longer be able to defend my city if the council will allow animal slaughter on private property. This unsanitary practice should not be allowed. People should be allowed to practice their faith, but when these customs put others at risk of public health crisis, those in power need to consider the impact. A place like Hamtramck, which is so densely populated, already has sanitation issues. I don't think allowing someone to kill an animal in their yard would be sanitary. As someone who is an animal advocate, I'm horrified by the idea that I might be forced to see things that I find disturbing and traumatizing. This is something that licensed butchers should be doing, for the safety of everyone. I would also argue that seeing animal slaughter would also send children the message that it is okay to hurt animals. I don't want to raise a family in a place that doesn't embrace my values, and if this ordinance passes, I will no longer call Hamtramck my home. Thank you, Sarah. Natasha Foreman. I cannot attend tonight's meeting, but I am a resident of Hamtramck and I do not want animal sacrifices to take place in the open or anywhere besides designated indoor sanitary slaughterhouses that can be inspected and monitored properly. I also read that inspections for rental properties are to be considered expanding from every 2 years to every 3 years, and I feel that this prolongs the already dangerous situation of landlords putting off repairs and updates as long as they can get away with it. Rental properties all over the city are in various stages of disrepair already, and given that at least one councilman owns several rental properties and stands to benefit from this, I see a conflict of interest. Every 2 years is reasonable. If landlords are decent, they have nothing to worry about. Thank you, Natasha Foreman. Corey Duff. On topic of rental inspections being moved from every 2 years to every 3 years. If a landlord doesn't have the time to run their rental home business and feels that having a home inspection to be sure that their tenants are living in a home that is properly up to code, then they have too many properties. Such landlords should divest some of these properties, maybe to the tenants. Also, homes falling into despair is a reason other properties are seen to be artificially overvalued. Keeping the inspections every 2 years keeps the housing market vital and the values of the market rising. On the topic of ritual animal sacrifice, who will be ensuring that the animals are sacrificed humanely? Who will pay for the person to be sure the animal is sacrificed humanely? Will there be permits on the property so that the home can be inspected prior to and after the sacrifice? Who will pay for the inspectors? If the property is not properly cleaned after the sacrifice, causing odor to contaminate the air, or causing a food source for rodents, who is responsible for cleanup? Is it legal to sacrifice animals in Michigan without a hunting permit? Would this be considered hunting? Can sacrifices only take place during hunting season? Has there been a discussion with the Michigan Anti-Cruelty Society to find out about their protections? Has anyone considered the mental ramifications on children watching the sacrifice of any animal? What happens if someone tries to practice on a neighborhood animal? My grandparents raised their own food in their own country. When their families came here, they stopped that practice because they lived in the city, not a farm. There are services and a clean environment where these sacrifices can be done. The neighborhood children shouldn't be taught this barbarism. Besides, sounds like people are trying to save money by doing this themselves. I'm afraid of the shortcuts one would take and pollute the neighborhood in the meantime. Joanne Subchuk. To whom it may concern, in regards to the introduction of animal sacrifice during a Muslim holiday, I wish that council would consider the idea that this is America and not the Middle East. I thought people came here for freedom of religion, but also to respect the laws of American people. Animal rights laws do not allow residents to kill an animal in the neighborhood. We don't spend years drafting federal laws on this topic of anti-cruelty just for Hamtramck to come up with something hundreds of years old. I thought the people of Hamtramck came here for this freedom, but also to live a more progressive life and not something centuries ago. Don't get me wrong, I believe that halal food is more humane than meat from an American slaughterhouse, but allowing a resident who has absolutely no concept of what they may be doing in regards to animal cruelty is to just kill an animal in front of other people in the neighborhood while many in this community are trying to save local animals would be total disregard for American neighbors who do not support this type of idea. Please don't put Hamtramck on the map by looking ridiculous and giving the suburbs something to say, like they don't have enough. Joni Subchuck. Subchuck. Veronica Lewis. Please do not approve the ordinance allowing animal slaughter at people's homes. Hamtramck is much too densely populated for this to be a safe or sanitary practice. As a longtime resident of Hamtramck who always votes, I urge you to vote no. Veronica Lewis, McDougal Street. And that is it for emails.